Hello everybody and welcome. I'm Leo, but I'm playing Guards of Traitors Toll today. It's one of my favorite miniatures games. It's an adventure skirmish game from 1 to 4 players by Graham Davey. And in this game you control a squad of guards in the city of Traitors Toll, trying to maintain order, solve mysteries and certain plots, and gain reputation and gold. I'm starting it's not really a campaign, it's just going to be a series of linked missions. I'm starting with patrol duty, which is the main mission in the game. It's a replayable mission that you can play it over and over with different plot cards that make it different. I'm going to start my I'm going to call it a campaign. I'm going to start it with patrol duty and then go on with the next mission after that. And as I play through the missions, my guard squad will advance. They'll sort of evolve. They'll get a little bit better. They'll get some different traits. They'll get advanced cards, which may give them abilities or certain objects and items. And yeah, it'll be over a course of several videos. I don't even think I'll complete this mission with one video. It's probably going to take a few. The game is relatively simple. It's going to be a solo for me today. It's just me, so it works with a a token pull system. So there are tokens in this bag. Each guard has a token, and then there are time tokens, which manage the time in the game. There are plot tokens, which allow me to draw from the plot deck and advance the narrative in the game. I'm going to draw my first token. It's a guard token. So this allows me to activate a guard. I have 2 guards here. You can see on screen one of the guards I have there, and there's another guard next to him. You can't see the 2 guards I have on this side of the board because they're behind this. Nope, they're behind this house here. You might be able to see the halberd sticking up from my lieutenant. So I'm starting with 6 on the board. I have 3 others off the board, including my guard captain. They're in the guardhouse right now. They'll come on as reserves. So the first guard I will activate is going to be this one here. She's carrying a torch, which is important, as you'll see later on in the game. I'm going to try and move her towards the center of the board. However, in this game, you can't just move her wherever you want. Well, not all the time. She's going to have to take what's called a roving action. And that is based upon her... This is Elena Tira's guard, is the name of this guard. She's got a wits attribute of 3. So I'm going to roll 3 dice. And depending on what I roll, she'll move. All right, I rolled a whole bunch of swords and a footprint. In the roving action, you have to go in the direction of a sword. In this case, I have a lot of options because these 2 dice have multiple sword directions. I could choose the one I want. I'm going to choose to go that way. So this die here. The footprint adds an inch to the normal move of a 4-inch. So a roving action is 4 inches. Plus 1, she goes 5 inches in that direction. As you can see, there are people in the way. If she was running as if to apprehend a suspect, she would, I believe it's called barrel through. She could knock over these citizens, in which case they don't like that. So it could cause discontent. So if you do a move more than 4 inches and you're in a hurry, I could possibly knock them over. But this is just a roving action. So it's just going to be a push aside, a simple push. They're only just going to get out of the way so that she can get to her end destination, which is right there. Got to keep the tokens with them because now she's no longer ready. And I'll pull the next token. All right, next token is a time token. Time tokens, according to the procedure, I have to pick a civilian on the board randomly. It's a D6 roll, and I've got to check an identify card. All right, that's a 4. Here's the identify card. So a 4 is tools. I'm identifying a civilian with any one of those tools you see on the card. Light or flame, a hammer, a pick, a rope, a chain, etc. All right, well, I see a civilian right in front of me with a light. Let's activate that one to do its roving action. So this is the same as what I just did for a civilian. All civilians have a they have a wit score of 3, so it's 3 dice. And again, moving in the direction of the sword. And again, adding an inch per foot rolled. So she's going to move almost directly towards me to the south, 6 inches, coming down this way. She's going to move me out of the way and probably wind up right about where I am. Actually, she's going to move this fisherman, or this fish butcher guy, out of the way as well. So I'm going to shuffle over. He's going to shuffle over. And she's coming right here. And that's not the end of it. Now I have to pick the closest civilian and move in the direction indicated by the card in the same bracket that I chose. So since I had tools, it's going to be in the same direction. So the closest is going to be him, and he's going to move in the same direction 4 inches. And that's the first time token. There are 3 time tokens in the bag. After the third is pulled, the turn will end. So it's possible that I can't activate every one of my guards in a single turn. Depends on how the tokens come out. Next token's a guard. I might as well activate him. Again, it would be a roving action, but because I have a light source, instead of him rolling his wits and moving in a random direction according to the swords, he can move towards the light. He could see 18 inches, he could see that light, and so he can move towards it. So he still has to roll his wits. It's wits awareness. So my guard is in yellow. He's yellow with a bow, so it would be Maurice. His wits awareness is at 3. All right, that's a good roll. 3 footprints adds 3 inches, or is it 2 inches? I can never remember roving, and I check it constantly. No, it just adds an inch per footprint, so he can go 4 plus 3. He's going 7 inches straight towards the light. He's going to move 7 inches towards the light. It's going to put him right by the end of that market stall right there. He's going to move a few of these out of the way. He's going to move me out of the way. And he's going to move her out of the way so he could take his straight path to where he's going. And he needs his activation token. All right, another guard can activate. I'll do one of these over here on the right-hand side of the board. I'll activate him. He's got a crossbow. He's going to have to take a roving action. And his wits awareness attribute is a 4. This is Dan Fickle. It's his name. All right, so I have several options. I'm going to take this option and go in that direction. So that way I have one footprint, which means he can go 5 inches in that direction. Okay, I moved him. I'm going to move the camera slightly to show you where he wound up. Next token. Another time token. So a random civilian will do a roving action. Whoa! I rolled a 4. So again, that's tools. I'm looking for a civilian with a tool. All right, I believe, well, you can't see him. He's behind here. But there is like a janitor type of a model that has a broom, and that's one of the tools listed. So he's going to do a roving action. If I tilt the camera over slightly, you can barely see him back there. And he's got to make a roll with 3 dice. All right, according to these swords, I can move them either in that direction or in that direction. I'm going to go this way. And I rolled 1 footprint marker, so he can go 5 inches down this way. Now he wound up right behind this tree here. The closest civilian to him is this one here in blue, carrying a wand. She's going to move in the same direction, 4 inches. So 4 inches in the same direction was going to put her like right in front of those crates there. And that'll bring me to the next token. This is an optional token that I'm using. It's a cart. So here's a cart, and there's a cart over there. Carts have to be pulled by either animals or people. I'll move this one. So it's going to move 6 inches, and I could pivot once 90 degrees. I'm just going to move it 6 inches down the road. She's probably going to have to move out of the way. Yeah. All right, and then this is the final time token of the round. So the procedure for the third time token is a little bit different. All right, so the procedure for the third time token ends the round. All of the tokens, plot, time tokens, and so forth, the cart token that I picked up will go back into the bag. The guard tokens as well. So the guard tokens on the board go back in the bag, and there are already guard tokens in the bag for the ones that I didn't draw. So unfortunately I didn't get to act with all my guards that turn. That's it. I only had 3 guards activate that turn. Then a lot of other things would happen. Like if there were fires on the board, fires would burn. I have to check for discontent. I don't have any discontent as of right now. In a solo game, if you get 12 discontent, you lose. I could call for more guards, but that doesn't happen, I believe, until turn 2 or 3. Guards that are in the guardhouse can heal. So if I had injured guards, I could exit them off the board into the guardhouse at one of the signposts with blue. You could see one over here on the left side. They would go to the guardhouse and heal up after the turn. More civilians would enter the board if they had left. Right now I have all of the civilians originally set up are still on the board. So basically that's it. I go to the next turn, turn 2. First token's a guard token. I'm going to move my torch guard again. This is, what was her name again? This is Elena. Elena Tira's guard. She has a sword, a torch, and a rope. She has a wits attribute of 3, so I'm rolling three dice. See where she wants to go. All right. She's going to go that way, towards the middle of the board. I have no extra movement, so just 4 inches. She's going to wind up right behind the cart. My next token. Time token. Let's see. We'll do a random civilian. I rolled a 5. A 5 is consume. So any civilian with a bottle or a pot, baked goods, fish or meat, well, here's the fellow with some fish. We'll roll his wits, which is 3 dice. He can go in this direction according to the sword, plus 1 inch, so 5 inches this way. And he's basically at the edge of the board. The edge of the board here has got the fence line there. With the signpost, this is another entrance and exit off the board. You can see the signposts I made. And now the closest civilian to him is probably her. So she is going to move in towards. So towards the original model. She's going to come around. She's going to come around the well, right towards the fisherman guy, 4 inches. I got a cart token. I'll move this cart again, 6 inches up. So the cart moved, and the next token is another time token. This is not good. Already 2 time tokens. I've only activated 1 guard. A 2 on the identify card is weaponry. So I'm looking for a civilian with blunt weapons, sharp weapons, a shield, a helmet, ranged weapon. Oh, here's one right here. This guy has a sword. Where's the third die? Oh, the third die is another footprint. So he's going to go 6 inches in the direction of that sword. So he's going to go like that. Closest civilian to him is this fellow right here. And he's going to go away. So he's going to go the opposite direction, 4 inches. He winds up right about where my token is. All right. Sorry about that. Next token. It's a plot token. So this is our first plot token. I'm going to draw from the plot deck. Let's see what we get. We have a furious citizen. Furious citizen is incensed by some perceived slight. A citizen takes out their anger on a guard. So that's their attribute line. Beneath that are their actions that they want to take. Strike and defend. I have to identify a civilian who's nearest to a guard, and then it's going to attack my guard. My task is going to be to arrest that suspect. All right, so nearest to a guard, it's got to be him, right? He's standing right next to my guard, right here. So he's going to take a close action. A close action, you have to have 6 inches and line of sight. So he's, of course, within 6 inches, and line of sight is good. So he would move towards him and then perform an attack. Okay, the attack is made using his aim statistic. Aim is the sword. He's got an aim of 3. And then if he hits, he's going to want to use his brawl, which is the fist. He's got a brawl of 4. The result is 4 swords. In order to pass a test, you need 3 swords, so that's a pass. And then there are little charts in the book, like this one, for a closed strike, which is what he did. 3 to 5 swords, he passes. Accurate strike. The target reacts ready, either to defend or dodge. Well, I'm not ready. Sorry, I misread that. The target reacts if ready. And since I have my token here, that means my guard has already done his action, so I cannot defend. So now I make a wound roll using his brawl, which I showed you was a 4. So 4 dice. Oh, that's fortunate. He got no swords. But if I got swords, you would consult the wound chart. So 0 to 2 swords, the action ends. Nothing happens. If he rolled at least 3 swords, I would have suffered 1 blood drop. And then there's the critical. The target is cut down, and the action ends. So I got a little lucky there. Especially with a 4 brawl. That's an above average is 4 is above average. 3 is about average for an attribute. All right. So now I've got my first plot, and my objective here is to arrest this suspect. Suspect gets a suspect token. That'll stick with him, so it'll go in the bag at the end of the turn. And then when it's drawn, he'll do his thing just as if it was just as I do mine. And his thing is going to be to try to I guess he's going to keep on trying to hit me because he's angry. My next action, according to the draw, is a guard action. Okay, I'm going to activate him. He can definitely see the suspect. Normally, where did I just put his token? Normally you have 6 inches range and line of sight, but when a suspect does something like attack, they are very conspicuous, so it increases the range to 12. In this case, he's very close, so he could definitely see him. And he's going to take his close action, which is 4 inches, so he's within 4. I don't have to roll. Although I'm gonna, because what are the sword... I mean the coin effects. The coin effects for a close action, they're not going to help me here, but you can see coin effect. He can go through a door, he could climb, or he could jump. So I don't have to roll. None of those things are going to come into play. He just closes. And now I could try to subdue him. So I'm attempting to grab or wrestle that suspect so I could arrest him. I'm using my agility score, and Maurice Benning is my bowman in yellow. That's Maurice with a 3 agility. So I'm looking for at least 3 swords here. I got 6 swords. So looking at the C's chart, right here, I got a critical, firm, grab, pass, and +1 dice on the subdue roll, if there is one. And there is going to be a subdue roll. All right, so now I do the subdue. A subdue roll determines the outcome of a successful seize. Failure means the target pulls free. A pass knocks the target to the ground, and a critical subdues the target, meaning they have surrendered, been overpowered, and bound, or have been knocked unconscious. So this requires a brawn roll. The brawn attribute is a 4. So I'm looking for at least 3 swords on this roll. And I got 3 swords. Result, pass. The target is knocked to the ground. And the action ends. I don't know. Turning models sideways is okay. I don't mind because I protect them with hard coats, but I just prefer a token. I think I'm going to print some tokens that just say, well, I have tokens for other games. They say like prone. I guess I'll do that. This way the token will go on them, and I think it'll just make the game flow better. It'll be a little cleaner. But yeah, he's on the ground now. Sorry about that. Keep on hitting the camera stand. All right, next token out of the bag is a plot token. So I draw the next card out of the plot deck, and it's a major plot. Gang of pickpockets. A team of pickpockets works the crowd, prompting cries of dismay as people realize their purse is gone. So I have to identify 3 civilians with bare feet, rags, or hoods. All 3 have the expert thief attribute. My task is to arrest all 3. I fail the task if 2 or more escape off the board. So this is the second discontent I have now, because once these come on board, right here is the discontent marker. They remain until I complete the plots. So I have 2 discontent. Discontent can also add up not only from the plot cards, but also from actions on the board. Let's say I attack a civilian without cause. They would get discontent, and if I barrel through and knock over a civilian, that would get me a discontent. All right, let me identify these. All right, I've identified my pickpockets. See, one of them is right there, the bare feet holding a snake. The other is right there. She's got a book and carries well, she's kind of casting a spell. She's got flame in her hand. That's not a candle. And the third is probably my best chance, because my two guards are right here. She's another magic user. She's got flames in her hands, but she's got bare feet. All of my suspects have bare feet. As you can tell, they have suspect markers on them, and those markers stay on them as they're identified. So they won't do anything now, but when their turn ends, their markers go back in the bag, and when I draw their markers, they're going to try to steal. They're going to try and pickpocket people. All right, the bag is getting pretty empty. Let's see if I can get another guard. Yes, guard token. I'm going to try to see if I could, well, see, I don't know that that is a suspect. That suspect right here with the flame in her hands, I know that she is, but my guards don't. I'm really sorry. I'm trying to do this. Okay. There she is. I have two guards standing right there. They don't yet know that she's a problem, but there's an action to take that allows them to get nearby and investigate and sort of try to deduce, okay, something is not right here. All right, so this is simply going to be another close action. I'm within 6 inches and I have line of sight. You can see the guard I chose with the token on him. So he's right next to the suspect. So he can move 4 inches plus 2 for each foot rolled on the die. There's no need for a die roll here. He's just going to move within base contact. And then instead of attacking, which technically I can do, but that would be foolish because I don't want discontent, he's going to question. So you could question, you could barter, you can investigate, you could extinguish fires. There are other ways to interact. The first thing you need to do is do a close action to get within base contact of whatever you're trying to do. So the close action is going to be successful, and the next thing I'm going to do is, I think it's going to be question. Okay, I checked the rule, and as it turns out, I'm wrong about that. I don't have to interact with that suspect at all. All I have to do is try to arrest. So I already know that that's a suspect that has been pickpocketing civilians, and so my next action is going to be subdue. Well, it's actually seize. You do seize first, and then you do subdue. So Dan Fickle has an agility, or no, it's aim. I have an aim of 4. I've got to roll 4 dice. I have 3 successes. According to the close strike seize, I get a pass, grab. Now, the suspect cannot react because it's not ready. It comes out with that token. So now I'm going to make a subdue roll, and this is going to be according to my brawl attribute. His brawl is a 3. All right, I got 6. These dice bounce all over the place. This mat is pretty spongy. But that was my roll. And that's a critical. The target is subdued and the action ends. Okay, so what I have to do now is I need to place a prisoner token. Prisoner token looks like this. Put that next to the suspect, and in a later activation for that guard, or actually I could probably use this guard here. If I could draw another token to activate, I could escort that prisoner off the board, and what happens is my guard will go off the board, but he'll be available to come back next. Well, if I draw another activation token, I believe I could bring him back. So that ends the activation. I'm going to draw the next token. And it's the final time token, so the turn ends. There is an extra step, I believe. Now that I have a prisoner, I'm going to check to see whether or not I have to roll to see whether he escapes. Or that's she. That's sorry. Let me roll that. Okay, check that. The roll is only necessary if a prisoner is more than 2 inches away from a guard. In this case, my guard is still in base contact, so I'm good. So the only steps I need to take are to put the tokens back in, and I do have to check whether or not the suspect that I knocked over stands back up. I'm going to fix the camera, recenter it, and then I'll let you know what happens there. Okay, it says civilians that are knocked to the ground stand up at the end of the turn, but this is a suspect. So I believe that suspect remains on the ground right here. All right, I've subdued and imprisoned one of the pickpockets. I need to get at least one more, because if 2 of them escape, I fail. I'm going to draw my first token. This is the start of turn 3. It's probably going to be my last turn for the video, and then I'll continue with another video. I have a guard token. Let me activate this guard and try to subdue that suspect on the ground. Okay, I'm rolling agility. That's yellow guard with a bow. So Maurice has an agility of 3. I'm getting +1 dice because the suspect is on the ground. I'm also going to do an assist. All right, so according to the book, Help and Hindrance, it's on page 53. Guards that are within 2 inches of the initial action, which is right here, are going to help automatically. And if there are civilians nearby, they will help as well, but I'd have to pass a test first. Since I have 2 discontent, I'd have to pass a test to see whether or not they want to help me. There are none within range, so I'm just going to add another die for the assistance because of this guard. So I have 5 dice for this attack. I'm going to roll them in my dice tray, just so that I don't make a mess of the board. It's 5 dice here. All right, that's 5 swords. And that's on the C's roll. 5 swords is a pass. Now the target is on the ground, so I don't know if it can defend. Let me double check that. Okay, a figure cannot defend if they are on the ground. So the next roll is going to be on the subdue chart, and that requires a brawn test. Brawn is 4 dice. +1 if the target's been knocked to the ground. That's going to be 5 dice. And that's it for my modifiers. Let's see what I get here. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a pass. The target is knocked to the ground. If already on the ground, they suffer 1 blood drop and the action ends. It looks like I need a critical in order to subdue them. So I need at least 6 swords to subdue. Otherwise, I might kill them if I keep getting below 6 swords. This is the citizen that got mad. This is the furious citizen, has 3 health total, so he's got 2 left. All right, so I'm going to mark him with a blood drop. Another thing I have to check is whether or not I have to take out a guard token to put it on this guard that assisted. All right, I made an error. It seems that the suspect that is down on the ground is not able to defend, but is able to dodge. So that goes to agility. It's got an agility score of 4, so I'm going to roll to see if it dodges. 4 swords is an evade. So I actually prefer that because I don't want to kill the suspect. Although the suspect now is, since it took a violent action towards a guard, I don't think I get discontent for killing him. It's only when I kill guards that are not, it's only when I kill suspects that haven't been aggressive or violent. All right, next token. Another guard token. I'll try it again. I'll try it with that guard. So, looking to subdue. This is Elena. She has an aim of 4. +1 because the target's on the ground. And +1 for the assist. Again, I'm going to go back to my dice tray. I've got 6 dice here. All right, this is for the C's, or subdue. Did I get my critical? I got a critical on the C's. So firm grab, that's a pass. +1 dice on the subdue roll, if there is one. Yeah, there's going to be a subdue roll. That's the one I need 6 swords. So subdue is according to brawl. Elena also has a score of 4 for her brawl. +1 because the target is on the ground. And +1 because the C's roll was a critical. So I have 6 again. Looking for 6 swords to complete this. And I did it. I got plenty of swords. So critical, the target is subdued, and the action ends. All right, so same procedure here. I'm going to just stand up the arrested suspect. I'm going to get a marker to indicate that he's my prisoner. I'm looking for a blue one because there are factions in the game. I haven't done the factions yet. I've only I haven't even identified what faction my guards are, but I used a blue marker. So that's the blue marker indicating that he is arrested and he's now a prisoner. I have to take his token out of the bag. So that suspect is no longer a suspect, it's a prisoner. So I'm going to rummage through the bag here, look for a suspect token, and remove it from the game. And I believe that completes that action. All right, I'm going to pull the next token. So far, no time tokens yet this turn. It's turn 3. After this turn, I'm going to double check to see when reserves come back on. I think it's after this turn. Got another guard. All right, so I think what I'm going to try to do is escort the prisoner off. I'm going to adjust the camera to show you what I'm going to be doing. So here I am. I'm going to activate this guard who is escorting that prisoner. Right there. Table edge to exit is right here. You see the exit sign? This actually goes toward the guardhouse, which is good because I think I have to take it back to the guardhouse. And let me just see what action I have to take in order to get that prisoner off. All right, it's not a move action at all. It's actually a special action called escort duty action. And it allows 1 to 3 prisoners within 12 inches of a guard to be removed from the board. It doesn't matter which figure or squad arrests them. So I'm going to gain a gold for each prisoner escorted, but then I have to remove my guard, and the guard goes back to the guardhouse. So the prisoner goes away, so does my guard, and the tokens come off the board. Whoa. So this guard token is going to go with my guard. It's not going to go back in the bag. Not until my guard comes back. Got 1 gold coin. I'm going to put that with my guards in the guardhouse, and I can continue on. So next token. Suspect token. All right, this could get interesting. All right, so in looking up the suspect behavior, I have to assign this suspect token to one of my pickpockets. There are 2 left. One of them I just arrested. The other one is over there. I'm going to assign it to the one down over there. I'll adjust the camera in a second, but I just wanted to point out I made an error. When the plot cards come out and suspects are identified, they take their action immediately, and then you place their token next to them. So the pickpockets should have gone into sneak, and then they were going to try and pickpocket somebody. If they were sneaking, it would not have been as easy to close and subdue and arrest that pickpocket that I did. So, kind of a big error. I did it correctly with the furious citizen because I did move and attack right away with that citizen. So when you pull a plot card and identify a suspect, you do their action immediately. All right, so I'm going to activate this suspect. This is one of my pickpockets. And according to the major plot, this is what she wants to do. She wants to sneak and then steal. Okay, so it's going to be a wits awareness roll. That's going to be 3 dice. And according to the arrows, she'll move. And after the move, she'll go into sneak mode. If she moves through a model, which it looks like that drunken dwarf in front of her is nearby, she'll try to steal. All right, she's going to go towards that house. And she has 2 foot markers. So that's going to be 6 total inches, and she's going to end up right by that house, and then she'll go into hiding or into sneaking. I'll replace the token with a sneak token. Looks like this. That's just a suspect that's sneaking around. All right. All right, so the next activation. I've got another suspect. So I'm going to put it on this one here. Fix the camera. There he is right there. Right here. He'll do the same thing. He's going to move and then sneak. And he's going to end in a sneak anyway. All right. It's going to go that way. And just 4 inches. So it looks like he's going to bump and then come down. He'll probably be right around here. Okay. So we've got 2 suspects that did their actions. This one here and the one over by the house over there. Another token. It's a guard. All right, so these 2 guards have already done their actions. I can't do anything here. I've got a guard over there, and I've got 2 over here that haven't done anything all game yet. Okay, so I'm able to close to that suspect that's hiding by the house and possibly spot her. Since she's hiding, I can't really do anything, but I may be able to spot her. So I'm going to activate my lieutenant. She's the one here with the halberd. Let me adjust the camera. Okay, guard roving action is wits awareness, which her attribute is at 3. So I'm going to roll 3 dice, and I'm hoping to get a coin symbol because that will allow me to spot the suspect that's hiding or sneaking. I didn't get any coins. I got 2 foot markers and the arrow is pointing, unfortunately, towards the guardhouse exit. So she's going to go 6 inches and stop at the edge of the board right about here. All right. Draw another token. It's a cart. I'm going to move the same cart straight on through. I'm going to try and go north off the board. All right, next token. Time token. This is the first time token of the turn. Identify a random civilian. That's a 3. So according to the identify chart, a 3 is expensive. I'm looking for a civilian with a money chest, a goblet, or a gem. Well, here's one right in front of us with a gem. Oh boy. All right, so I'm going to activate this one here. Do her roving action. +1 inch because of the foot marker. You can't see it, but there it is. I'll choose this die for the direction. So she's going to go 5 inches. Closest civilian would be the one with the fish and the butcher's knife, and moving in the same direction would cause him to come to the edge of the board here. It's been an eventful turn. Next token is a guard. I'm going to try again on this side of the board with the guard over here. Let me adjust. All right, so that is Randolph Bickers. He's got a halberd and he's got a lantern. His wits is a 4, so I'm rolling 4 dice. This is his roving action. So let's see. I'm going to go, not a great result. I wanted to go up, but I'm going to wind up having to come, I'm going to go this way. So he's going to hit the building, come around. And no foot marker, so just 4 inches. I'll measure that out. All right, so he moved around the building and now he's right here. My suspect is behind him, up here by this house. All right, I've got another guard action. It's been a good turn. I've got 2 activated here, 2 activated on that side. I've activated 1 on this side. He escorted a prisoner off, so this is my last guard, actually. And it's going to be over here on the right side of the board. There is a guard that you can't see, I don't think. That's Lewis Gentry. He's got a parchment. He's got a sword as a weapon, and he's hollering, he's shouting. He's going to do a roving action. There's nothing of interest for him to spot and move towards, so wits. It's a 4. He's going to move down towards the road 5 inches. Next token is a time token. That's the second one. So a random civilian, 6. That's perform. Looking for a civilian with an instrument, a creature, a jester or juggler, a puppet, a mask, or any performer. I see one with a flute. She's up here. So 3 dice is her wits awareness. I'm going to roll it here. And I'm going to use the arrows pointing down. So I'll use this result. Plus 1 inch, come 5 inches down the road. Now nearest to her will be this civilian, with their back to us. This one here. She's going to move towards that model, 4 inches. She's going to go up. She's going to force her to move out of the way. She's going to go up 4 inches. Just got to measure it. All right. There's only a couple of tokens left. And that's the final time token for the turn. So I'm going to refresh. All the tokens come up, except for the prisoner tokens. That will stay, signifying that that's a prisoner. The hidden suspects remained hidden. Well, they're still sneaking. So I'm going to leave the sneak on that suspect and just put their normal suspect token into the bag for their activation. This way I don't forget who's sneaking around and who's not. I have to pick up all of my guard tokens, as well as the suspect tokens that are out, if there are any. And I'd go through the procedure again for the end of the turn, and then I'll restart turn 4 in the next video. I hope you enjoyed this one. I tried something a little different with my camera. Instead of having a static overhead camera, I was trying to do something a little more dynamic, but I didn't want to hold it in my hand and have a shaky camera. So let me know what you think, if it worked. I know the sound is still not good because I haven't gotten well, I did get my adapter to use my headset, but it turns out it didn't work. My headset, I couldn't find it on my iPhone, so that was a waste. So I just ordered basically an Apple microphone, and next video I'll see if we could improve the sound with that. Well, this has been the first episode of Patrol Duty, Guards of Traitors Toll. Hope you liked it, and stick around. I hope you tune in for the next one. Have a good one.